All right, we're here with Dan and Terry of StopSmartMetersGeorgia.org here in Kingsland, Georgia. Kingsland, sorry. Goodness. We're here out in front of your house, and first of all, thank you for sponsoring an event this evening in Savannah, Georgia, and we're about to head out to that event. Thanks for all your activism here in Georgia, and for holding on to the truth and disseminating the truth here in Georgia. Thanks for hosting me too. Really appreciate it.
Glad you're here.
Yeah. So tell me, you guys, how you got into this whole issue of the stopping smart meters.
Well, we got a notice in the mail that they were going to be putting them on the house, and at first I thought it would be good to save gas and cut down on pollution, although it was bad that the meter readers would lose their jobs.
So it sounded good to you at first?
Well,
on the surface,
seen the phrase smart meters before, and I had just wondered what that is, and hadn't really paid much attention. But once I researched it, I knew that we were going to have to do something because they're dangerous on so many levels.
And were you telling me in the car, it was back in 2011, I think, you came to our website, StopSmartMeters.org, and then decided to start your own sort of local chapter here in Georgia, and that's been building and building. And tell me about some of the outreach efforts that you've done locally in your neighborhood.
Well, first thing we did was talk to all our neighbors, and we got signs up on a lot of their houses. So when they didn't of course give us any notice that they were coming, the lady down the street called us and said, "Hey, they're here."
And this is Georgia Power and Light?
Right.
Yeah. Georgia Power.
Georgia Power. And but enough of our neighbors had signs up that a lot of them were able to not get a smart meter installed. It's not that Georgia Power hasn't been persistent in changing that when homeowners change, but a lot of folks in our neighborhood still don't have a
So this is, apart from a couple of houses, this is really a smart meter free zone still here in Kingsland.
Neighborhood. And
do you want to point out which neighbors have?
Well, the ones that don't, these people. I'm not sure about that woman down there. These people don't. She doesn't. Well, they don't. And these two houses there do not. And there are other houses throughout our neighborhood that don't have smart meters. It's a pretty active group.
So people are supporting you guys, and they know what you're up to, and what's the situation here in Georgia with the opt-out? They recently approved an opt-out in response to the pressure and in response to the advocacy you guys and others have been doing. Tell me what the terms of that opt-out are. They gave you a actual analog meter?
We went up to Atlanta and we checked one out that had recently been swapped out. Took our meter up there and measured it to make sure it wasn't one of those stealth meters.
Because there are some analogs that look safe. They have the spinning wheels, but they actually have a radio frequency radiation transmitter inside of them, but it wasn't one of those.
And so $19 a month is what they're telling us it's going to be.
That's steep.
That's there should be no charge. There should be no smart meters on anyone's houses, and they shouldn't be. I consider it extortion.
Now, they based our rates before the smart meters on the meter readers coming out.
Right.
And then they said there was going to be cost savings, which we never saw. And so now they're charging us extra for something that was already included before.
So they're charging you for the analog and the meter reader. They're charging you for the new smart meter, and they're charging you $19 on top of that. So they're actually more or less triple charging you, right? And this is what the utility industry will do, and they're very kind of smart about it. They bring in these opt-out charges. They know that 80% of the people will be like, "Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot of money." I mean, if you think $19 a month forever, that's a lot of money over 10 years. And so a lot of people will say, I really don't want this on my house, but if I'm forced to pay this money, I might cave. And so that's what we've been seeing, and that's why I think it's particularly important to resist these fees. We're in a situation in Georgia where the summers here are really super hot. People depend on air conditioning for their health and safety. Is there any law in Georgia saying you can't cut off someone who's 90 years old if they've paid their bill in the middle of the summer or anything like that?
They went ahead and cut off a sick older woman's power when her son, because she had been experiencing problems with the meter, probably from the EMF. He put an analog on the back on the house, and so Georgia Power came along and took that off and left them with no power. And he tried to go along with a generator, but it just gets expensive after a while. And so now he's glad to hear that they have an opt-out.
So what happened in California is that PG&E tried to charge this opt-out fee, but most of the population are really not going along with it. There are thousands of people who are refusing to pay, and even though Pacific Gas and Electric has threatened to disconnect people, they haven't actually done that to anyone yet. They've threatened a lot. So it's important to stick together to get people really committed to this and united. And
can you hold on just 1 second?
Yeah.
Hey Pat, she's one of my friends that doesn't have a smart meter.
Oh,
you
great.
Tell him why you don't want one.
Everything I read from you and Monique.
So like the fires and the radiation and the higher bills.
So they've been doing a good job getting the word out? They've been doing a good job getting the word out?
Oh yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I bug 'em. I bug 'em.
Thanks for
Pat.
keeping the faith. All right, is there anything else you guys want to say to the Stop Smart Meters?
Well,
Oh dear, we've
Well-
got some serious dog. All right. Serious.
Their bark is worse than their
Yeah,
bite.
they look like they're pretty harmless.
We just want to encourage people to resist because there's power in numbers. We're just going to keep resisting ourselves and get that opt-out fee. Try to get that opt-out fee cut out to zero, and then work on just getting the smart meters off the houses
which
because they're
was a
dangerous.
bill that got pretty far along.
In the state legislature.
In the state
Mhm.
legislature.
Senate passed it as free, and then the House just killed it. Didn't even send it any farther along.
Yeah.
But I want to point out that kids are really affected by the emissions from smart meters, and they can be playing football, running next to them, and just
Kids often play right next to the house,
That's
on the
right.
side of the house, and they don't even, there's no warning or anything. It's pretty insane.
they can get
Yeah.
leukemia because they're thin. Their skulls are
skulls,
thinner,
yeah.
and they have more water.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're more liquid in there. So.
Well, it's great to be here in Georgia with you guys and to travel all across the country on the train and
Yeah.
stopping communities. And really, these are the same issues that people all across the country are dealing with. We're all in this together. So thanks again for what you're doing. And
We're glad you're here, and thanks for doing what you're doing. It
rock
makes
on.
a huge difference. StopSmartMeters.org.
Stop Smart Meters. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.